But this Clio Sport race about to get underway here at Anglesey, and it's Justin Griffiths on pole position that makes the best of the starts there. Darren Ransom, who was on the outside of the front row of the grid, he might just about be pipped by Pete O'Connor. No, I think Ransom has held on to the position as they turn their way through the first couple of corners. Through the banking they go, and out towards Church Corner for the first time in this 15-minute race. Out through Church they go then. Great sight they make. Greg Hill there in the number 75 car, adding a bit of colour to it. Matthew Poncia there at number 57 is at the back of the field, but it's certainly, as they were on the grid for the first three places. Jan Whittaker, in his first time out, he outbreaks himself, but not as much as the pole position man did. He's dropped back to third, maybe second place now, Justin Griffiths. He went straight on, more or less, up there at Rocket Corner. He's going to try and get back into the race. We've got an onboard view here with car number 72. This is Pete O'Connor, who is still in third position and has now got Justin Griffiths just ahead of him. Yeah, Justin Griffiths, who was very sideways through Peel Corner, and that sort of forced O'Connor really to lift off the throttle to avoid running straight into the back of him. Brilliant angle this for the camera, actually looking down, so you can really see the lines that the drivers are taking, picking up a little bit of understeer there, coming through the final part of the corkscrew. And then across the line at the end of lap one. So Darren Ransom leads by just under a second from Justin Griffiths, who will be kicking himself for that mistake that he made up at Rocket Corner. Then you've got Peter O'Connor, the Class A leader, who's doing well, isn't he, in third place overall, having, well, I suppose that's where he started, actually qualified in third, didn't he? Then you've got the 297 of Jan Whittaker with Chris Lawrence behind. Chris Lawrence in that iconic yellow and blue livery. The younger member of our commentary team today did have the audacity to say, was that not on a Nissan once? No, it wasn't. It was, of course, the factory Renault touring car and rallying livery back in the 90s, and Chris Lawrence driving it impeccably up into fourth place. And for the record, I'm not the younger member of the commentary team. As if that needed explaining. Right, so we have that beautifully turned out car making up positions. We're back on board with Pete O'Connor. He was a winner in the much shortened race at Castlecombe, shortened because of the red flag, because of that incident that involved Chris Page. But he's in third place here. Ransom leading. He's not done that very often, as far as I can remember, in Clio Sport Championship races, but he leads. Justin Griffiths is second. Pete O'Connor is third in the 182, but it really is, he's the exception to the rule, isn't he? Because it's 197s all around him, and the rest of the 182s have all got themselves together towards the back half of the field here. So it does seem a circuit angle, so that is perhaps more well suited to the 197s than it is the 182s. Yeah, that seems to be the case, doesn't it? Although Pete O'Connor, as we've said, is sort of taking the fight to them as best he can. He does now have Chris Lawrence putting the moves on him, though, taking a wide line into the banking, trying to get the better run down the hill towards Church Corner, but wasn't quite able to get alongside. But that 197 in fourth position looks as though it is on the attack. Again, look at them hooking that curb through Church Corner to help rotate the car. And Chris Lawrence now looking maybe to try and make a move under braking at the top of the hill. Nothing to choose between the two cars in a straight line, though, is there? Absolutely no difference in straight line performance. And that means that Peter O'Connor is able to stay in front, but he's got it all locked up. He can't get the car stopped. That was a pretty enormous brake lock-up, it must be said. It only cost him 2 places, but quite how he got the car stopped, I'm not sure. Yeah, well, the tyres are probably 50 pence piece shape now, aren't they, after all of that? But he has continued. He's still ahead of most of the rest of the 182s. He's got several 197s behind him still. There's the race leader, Justin Griffiths, then back ahead of Darren Ransom. Ransom in second. Then third now is the iconically liveried car of number 1, Chris Lawrence, the reigning champion. He was in a 182 last year, switched up to the 197s this year. In fourth, it's number 297, Jan Whittaker. Pete O'Connor still in fifth, despite that big lock-up at Rocket on the previous lap. And he's ahead of Jack McConnell and Matt Hipkins, who complete the 197 entry. Lock-up can't have done Peter O'Connor's tyres any good, though, you'd have to imagine, so he'll have to be wary of that now going into the big braking zones for the rest of the race. Only a 15-minute race, though, so it doesn't have to manage that situation for too long. Out through Church Corner they go. Lead gap out by a tenth and a half on that previous lap to nearly 3/4 of a second now.
as we ride back on board with the number 72 of Peter O'Connor, then heading towards the top of the hill where he had that big moment a lap ago. Gets the car stopped much more cleanly this time, turns into the apex, and manages also to keep Jack McDonnell and Matt Hipkins behind him. This actually ever-increasing queue of cars, which does now include his sort of first couple of Class A rivals, in particular Joshua North and Stephen Richardson, numbers 10 and 7 at the back of that group. So Peter O'Connor needs to be careful here not to lose any more places, otherwise his class lead could be in jeopardy.
Chris Lawrence was enjoying a clear view in front of him there. He's got Darren Ransom right behind him, though, so he can't really relax and enjoy the view as things stand. Darren Ransom with the checkered flag livery on his roof. They're quite a way clear of Chris Lawrence now in third position. Now, Pete O'Connor still leading, as we've said, in the 182s, and that is all important because points are scored within the classes rather than based on overall finishing position. So it doesn't matter whether Pete O'Connor finishes 5th on the road or 1st on the road. If he wins the class, he still will pick up maximum points within that division, which will count towards the championship. And he was 17 points ahead in his class. Justin Griffiths was only 7 points ahead in his class, but the gap between them overall was 5 points in favour of Pete O'Connor. So he's still going strongly here, and obviously Griffiths is also leading his class, so pretty much honours even between the two of them at this stage. Up the hill they go once more towards Rocket, getting up towards the halfway point in this race. That's the number 12 car of Matt Hipkins, trying to find a way around the outside of Jack McConnell, but they've now got the 182s for very close company, Joshua North and Stephen Richardson. They do seem to be getting closer, if anything, to Pete O'Connor, and O'Connor's now got another 197 ahead of him potentially because Jack McConnell has squeezed his way through on the inside there, which is giving him less of a buffer back to the other cars within his class.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point I was making. He's got to be careful here if he lets too many of the 197s through, as much as he doesn't need to fight them for class points. He doesn't really want to fall back into the clutches of Joshua North, does he? The lead gap, by the way, crept down on the previous lap, then went back up again to 3/4 of a second. So Justin Griffiths responding to the pressure from Darren Ransom, which was starting to build. Personal best lap, meanwhile, for Chris Lawrence in third position, a 22.6, so slightly quicker than Ransom, a 10th quicker than Ransom, but I doubt has enough time realistically to catch those leading two. So the big battle is this one going on further back. And there you can see the situation. Peter O'Connor has got Matt Hipkins in the blue number 12 car behind him. And then the next car, the similarly liveried car to his own of Joshua North, that is his nearest 182 rival, Class A rival. And I reckon if there's a move to be had here for Matt Hipkins at Rocket, this could very much bring these two together. Is Hipkins close enough? No, not quite. So for now, Peter O'Connor hanging on. But his class lead certainly not all that secure.
No, not at all. As we watch them make their way through, up towards the right hand they go. There is the number 12 car right behind him. So that's Matt Hipkins. There's the last sort of barrier between himself and Joshua North, who's having a pretty strong race here. Is Joshua. He does lie second in the 182 part of the championship coming into this weekend. Joshua, who is 33 years of age from Shrewsbury, so I guess this is one of his most local circuits by that measure. Watching the cars start another lap then. There is the number 13 car of Mark Enoch, the 27-year-old from Cheltenham, works in furniture retail, only in his second season of racing, done some karting in the past, but he's doing battle with number 7, which is Steve Richardson. Very close battle as well, and he manages to get ahead of Richardson now, the window cleaner from Milton Keynes. And a change there, so it's up into third place within that class now, as we're watching number 12, Hipkins.
It was fairly robust, wasn't it, really? Richardson getting elbowed out wide. But yes, Hipkins will now try and make a slightly cleaner move, maybe, on Peter O'Connor up the hill. O'Connor, again, just covers the inside line. The middle of the road, really, stops Hipkins from nipping up the inside. And so as they head through Rocket, still the order remains the same. O'Connor 6th, Hipkins 7th, North 8th. But it's the 6th and 8th place cars that are battling for a class lead here. So too, by the way, are Justin Griffiths and Darren Ransom. That gap came back down again by a couple of tenths on the previous lap, and I think it's come down by even more this time around. They're coming through the corkscrew now, and those leading two outright and within Class B are closer together than they have been. Unfortunately, in the barrier, though, is David Redshaw. David Redshaw off the road somewhere. up at Church Corner, and he's got into the barriers pretty heavily there. Lots of damage done, and he is very much out of the race.
Yeah, so that's a great shame for David Redshaw, third in the 182 Championship coming into this weekend, but he's crashed out there at Church Corner, one of the fastest parts of the circuit, really. Certainly the corner that probably requires the most commitment anywhere on the lap. The leaders are just going through that part of the circuit now. Justin Griffiths and Darren Ransom. Of course, there's yellow flags out there, and they pass the green flag now as they head off up towards Rocket Corner with 4.5 minutes of the race left to go. So Justin Griffiths here, number 55, is still in the lead from Darren Ransom. And so far this season, Griffiths has had 2 wins, a win each at Brands Hatch and at Castle Combe, in both overall and in Class A, Class B, I should say, as well. We're on board with him now. As you can see, he's got a clear track in front of him at the moment, but he's got Darren Ransom half a second behind him at the start of the lap. There we go. Watching them drop down now towards the corkscrew, but we're watching this battle with Pete O'Connor and Josh North, his teammate, looking at the livery on the 2 cars there, but they do have that Matt Hipkins 197 between them, and I think Pete O'Connor's going to be very keen to keep it that way.
Yes, Joshua North will be cheering Matt Hipkins on here. If Matt makes a move, that could even open the door for Joshua North to actually attack straight away. And certainly if he goes through, then it will close those 2 class leaders together. You've also got the 3rd placed Class A car there as well, haven't you? Mark Aynott in the number 13. They head through Target Corner. The outright race leaders only 0.4 of a second apart now. They're absolutely nose to tail, actually, as they head through Church Corner. So the lead battle suddenly starting to burst into life with 3.5 minutes to go. Off screen, this is happening. Here they are, Darren Ransom, well within slipstreaming range of Justin Griffiths now as they head towards Rocket Corner. So for the first time this race, Justin might have some defending to do here. Interestingly, only moves to the middle of the road just in the braking zone. Didn't want to commit to the inside line if he didn't have to, but realised that Darren Ransom was just about close enough to give him some trouble.
Yeah, so he's hustling on, is Justin Griffiths in the lead of this race, but Darren Ransom is not too far behind. He is giving Justin Griffiths a thorough workout here. Ransom 3rd in the 197 part of the championship coming into this weekend. His best result so far has been a 2nd place. He's had a 3rd as well, so looking for his first win of the season. Dropping down through the corkscrew there. They're quite a long way clear of Chris Lawrence, and Jan Whittaker going very well on his first time out in the number 297 car in 4th position, but probably a couple of laps to go, I would think, for these cars now as they head off up to the banking. It's still Griffiths from Ransom, and the gap is less than 0.6 of a second.
Yes, it is. Out of the banking again then towards Church Corner. Not quite as close maybe this time as Darren Ransom, I would say, but he'll try and set himself up nonetheless with a good run through Church. The yellow flag's in now at Church, by the way. Everybody, of course, fully aware of that car that's off at the side of the road, so no need to keep the yellows out for any longer. And so Darren Ransom and Justin Griffiths can continue at full speed through there, but it's not doing Ransom any good. He just can't get close enough. These cars always have been very good on the brakes and very evenly matched on the brakes as well, as you'd expect. So not easy to get a big advantage over your opponent into a braking zone. And these two clearly capable of lapping within not very much of each other. There was only 0.1 of a second between them in qualifying, and that always sort of suggested, didn't it, that whoever got into the first corner first at the start of the race would hold an advantage. But with a lap to go at the end of this one, Ransom hasn't given up and has proven that he's capable of getting close enough so far in this race. Will he commit to a move, though? That's the question.
Yeah, time will tell, I suspect. Down they go. We've got a lap to go then. Last lap board goes out to Justin Griffiths and Darren Ransom. The gap just under 0.7 of a second this time. Griffiths pulled away by 1/10 or so. That lap still absolutely furious battle going on further down the order. And Pete O'Connor has lost the position now to Matt Hipkins, so he is within striking distance of his teammate. The 2 DUS liveried cars together there. And Joshua North, number 10, is he going to spring a late surprise and get the Class A win away from Pete O'Connor? So there's still jeopardy in both classes here, Andy.
Well, this will be interesting. It's the first time these two have been together in this race. Is Joshua North going to be quick enough where it counts, which is through this next corner and on the run up the hill? At the top of that hill are the overall race leaders. No change there. Still Justin Griffiths ahead of Darren Ransom. And from the window, I can tell you there's not likely to be a change, at least immediately anyway, within Class A. So I think that's likely going to stay how it was. Yes, it looks like it will. There they are, look, going into Rocket. Joshua North actually more concerned with defending from Mark Aynott behind him than he was having a go at Peter O'Connor. So the Class A battle, I doubt we're going to see a change. I also would be very surprised to see Darren Ransom make a big do-or-die lunge here on Justin Griffiths, who has managed this race well.
He has indeed. Down through the corkscrew he comes for the final time. Out of it he comes. Checkered flag is waiting, no mistakes from him, and he takes the checkered flag. Justin Griffiths wins the first of 3 races this weekend for the K-Tec Racing Clio Sport Championship by half a second from Darren Ransom. Chris Lawrence is third in the 182s. It is going to be Pete O'Connor up across the line now, and he just about holds on to take the win. He was much further up the overall order earlier, but he's gradually slipped back down, and in the end won the class by about 3/4 of a second. So that's pretty much everyone across the line already. Just a couple of cars yet to come through. That's how closely matched the cars are in the K-Tec Racing Clio Sport Series. The first 11 cars at the end of 15 laps separated by only 17 seconds. That tells you just how evenly matched they are. We had just the one retirement. That was David Redshaw going off into the wall, the tyre wall at Church Corner. So his car will need to be recovered, but 13 cars made it to the checkered flag. In this order, Justin Griffiths, number 55, the winner at the end of 11 laps by 0.516 seconds over number 30 Darren Ransom in second place. In third position was number 1 Chris Lawrence, fourth to number 297 Jan Whittaker, fifth to number 14 Jack McConnell, and sixth to number 12 Matt Hipkins. Those were all the 197s. The 182s, they were won by, in seventh place overall, number 72 Pete O'Connor. Number 10 Joshua North was second, 8th overall. Third was number 13 Mark Aynott, 9th overall. And Stephen Richardson, number 7, completed the top 10 ahead of Greg Hill, Max Martin and Matthew Poncia. So that was the first clear race. There's 2 more of those to come tomorrow. 1 in the morning, and 1 will be our last race of the weekend before we head home tomorrow afternoon. So we've got cars will be shortly heading into Parc Fermé to celebrate their success. Have a word, I'm sure, with Kieran Mogg as well. Be good to hear from Griffiths, and I think we'll probably hear from Pete O'Connor as well when they get back into Parc Fermé. And although it's already gone 7 o'clock, we still have 1 more race to go here at Anglesey this evening, and that is going to be for the 116 Sprint Trophy and the 120 Coupe Cup. We'll have more of that shortly, but first let's head down to Kieran Mogg.
Well, what an amazing race we have there. So we've got our top 3 of the A class here, and we've got our B class winner, number 72, just behind there. So we're going to speak to our class winners. First of all, class winner and also overall winner is Justin Griffiths. If I could just step in here, Justin, fantastic race. So you had some pressure at the end, but you managed to hold off.
Yeah, he was putting me under pressure all the way, Darren. Cracking driver. It was so close. I just felt under pressure the whole way, and yeah, fortunately came out on top. He made the same silly error that I did going up the hill. So yeah, it was a cracking race. Nice to have a bit of pressure.
Yeah, definitely. And do you reckon you're going to try and change something for tomorrow, or do you reckon the car's kind of as good as it can be?
I think it's pretty much there. If I had a new set of tyres, I'd probably put them on, but I don't, so you've got to run with what I got.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you. I'm going to please speak to our second place man, Darren Ransom. Darren, you were so close. It's a fantastic race between the two of you.
Took the lead on the second lap. I just hit the brakes and there was none. It just made me run right. Just did the same thing on the lap before. But yeah, he's so good. He's so hard to overtake. But I was really enjoyed that. It was really good. Car was good. Run out of tyres towards the end, but good. Happy with that.
Fantastic. And do you reckon you could take the fight to him tomorrow?
I'm going to try my very best. I need to take one off him. He took one off me at Brand, so I need to take one off him.
Absolutely. Well, I look forward to seeing that then.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you very much. Right, we're going to, I think we've got a bit of time because the 116s are still here. So we'll walk over here and just have a chat with Chris Lawrence. Chris, fantastic race there, third position. Do you reckon you can close the gap to them tomorrow?
that's the plan. I mean, qualifying didn't go to plan this morning. I knew how to do it on the first or second lap then, but I could see it all kicking off in front, but I just couldn't get in a rhythm. Even towards the end, I just kept messing up at the top. So yeah, not a great day, but it was podium at the end of the day, so I'm happy with that.
Absolutely. Do you reckon you're going to go back to the base tonight and just think it over, maybe make some changes for the car?
Yeah, for sure. We haven't been here since 21. First time here in a 197, so there's always something to play with. We tweaked it from this morning. I think 50% of it's me, to be honest, but we'll try our best tomorrow.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to seeing that then.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll just pass straight past you a second, and we'll speak to our class winner, Peter O'Connor. Peter, you had some fight there.
Well, that was a bit of a tough one. I thought I had the pace at the front, but then when Chris came behind, I braked too late and I just kept my foot on the clutch, and basically I squared the front left off. So then for the rest of the race, it was just juddering, and I was just holding on really. So I managed to hold on at the end. So yeah, good race all in all. Yeah. So.
Do you reckon, bar the flat-spotted tyre, you reckon got the pace for it tomorrow?
Yeah. In the theoretical, well, if you could ever do that, was a 21.6. So I think new set of fronts, and we'll go again. Just a quick shout out to Chris Page. He had a big shunt at Coombs, so hope he's on the mend. We're all thinking of him. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the class win.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Anyway, we're going to a quick break, but as you can see, coming up next are the 116s. It's the last race of the day, and these guys, they always put on a show. We'll see you in a second.